Week 6 of the NFL season is here. I got some more spreads, over-unders, a teaser, and some more player props coming your way. Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot, and I gotta say, you guys have been killing it with the support. We are less than 100 subscribers away from 10,000, so we're gonna hit that this weekend if you guys keep clicking that subscribe button, and we're gonna hit 1 million total views. Yes, 1 million. 1 million views on the Calling Our Shot channel in less than a year, which is unreal. We appreciate you guys. Give yourself a pat on the back for all the support you guys have been showing us. We can't do it without you guys, so we're going to be doing a giveaway in the coming days. I'll announce that soon, but make sure you're subscribed. We got NBA starting back up on Tuesday, so the daily videos for the basketball season will return. And if I can ask you guys one last thing, click that like button down below. It really helps us grow this channel, bring the best possible content to your guys' screens, and so we can't do it without you guys, but we appreciate it. But let's talk about it. Maybe we've been helping you make some money in the NFL season. We've been doing pretty well. Last week, we'll do a week recap. 9-7, up 2.57 units, cashing our 2-unit play, and we cashed our touchdown and money line parlay. So you'll love to see that. You see the record: 24-13 on player props, 14-7 on spreads, 8-6 on over-unders, which we do have to tighten up on the over-under space. We're like 0-4 the last 2 weeks, so we'll get better. 46-26 on the year. 2 more spreads, 2 more player props, 2 more over-unders, and a teaser coming your way. If you want to see the full breakdown of the report, I always tweet it out on Twitter at Calling Our Shot after Monday Night Football, maybe Tuesday morning. So make sure you go check it out there. Let's get it started. We're starting with Browns, -2.5, -115 on Barstool versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I understand. I like this line up to 3, but I'll take it at 2.5, -115. I won't complain about the value, but the Browns impressed me last week, and before you say, you know what, Cardinals are the only undefeated team, we'll talk about it in a second. Now, the Browns, they impressed me. Now, I was bashing them last week. I had Chargers -1.5, and ended up cashing, but it was anything but a sweat-free bet. I was sweating, had to change shirts 10 times. Nick Chubb was running all over them, and I understand the concerns for that Chargers defense, but Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they're legit. Not that I didn't know that, but Baker Mayfield looked pretty good last week, and I think the Cardinals are due for a letdown here. Now, you look at them, they're the only remaining undefeated team, but they're an underdog. They're traveling on the road to Cleveland, and you look at the Browns team, they're hungry. They don't want to go to 3-3. They're sitting at 3-2. They can't afford to go 3-3 at the pace that the Ravens are going at right now, and the Bills and the AFC, they got to go up to 4-2, and I think this is the big game where they're just going to be better than the Arizona Cardinals team. Now, you look at it, here's the biggest reason I'm on the Browns. They've lost 7 games under Kevin Stefanski, who became their head coach last year. 7 games, the 7th one being on Sunday. Well, in the 6 previous losses, they had never lost the next game. They've never lost back-to-back games over the past 2 seasons, I think, and they've won all those games by at least 3 points. So this -2.5, I'm in. Now, also a note, Chandler Jones probably out this game, and Kyler Murray, he's struggling with a shoulder injury, which derailed kind of his production last year, so wouldn't be surprised to see them continue to struggle on offense. Kyler Murray struggled last year. He was on an MVP campaign like he is this year, and then he struggled once he got injured and still played through it, but still struggled. Last note, Ryan Mountcastle of the Baltimore Orioles, his bobblehead right here, he's all in on the Browns this week, and Ryan was on our podcast. If you haven't listened to the podcast, it's posted Wednesday morning. Go check it out. It was a great listen, arguably our best one of the year. We post it every Wednesday morning. But Ryan is on the Browns, and so am I, and so I'll take it. Now, moving on to the second spread pick of the video, which we swept spread picks last week. Now, except for the Chiefs. The Chiefs really sold us. But I know you guys want to get your keyboards. Get ready to start typing, because I know exactly what you guys are going to do. I'm going to pick the Patriots, +4, versus the Cowboys. All right, there, go. Now, I hear you guys typing. This guy's an idiot. The Cowboys, 5-0 against the spread, the only undefeated team against the spread remaining. And you look at the Patriots team. They just struggled to beat Davis Mills and the Houston Texans. What the heck? You're out of your mind. This guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And I get it. Are you guys done yet? I can still hear you typing. Now, I understand. I get all your points, and I don't disagree with you. But explain the line then. 93% of bets are going on the Cowboys, and yet this line has gone from 4.5 to 4. Now it's kind of sitting at 3.5, but I found it at 4, -115 on DraftKings. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying, and the line movement is begging for you to put money on the Cowboys. They're like, please put money on the Cowboys, and I just think Bill Belichick's up to some tricks. I think it was a big spot last week. It was just a letdown spot. They played against the Texans. The Texans got as lucky as they possibly could. If you watch that game, you know Davis Mills completed some passes and for some touchdowns that really shouldn't have been completed. They had no business completing some of those passes, but you look at this, I'm not really sold on this Cowboys defense just yet. You look at them last week, sure. Gave up 20 points to the Giants, but the Giants were missing basically all of their starting skill position players. Kadarius Toney, the only guy out there that really is a starter. So I'm not really worried about that. Week 4, they played the Panthers without their best skill position player, best player probably overall is Christian McCaffrey. So I'll take the home team here with the points. I'll take Mac Jones. I think they can get it done. I think this is the field goal game, so I'll take 3.5. Could the Cowboys win? Yeah. Could they easily cover? Yeah, they probably could. And I'll bring out this bad boy clown nose maybe next week if the Cowboys cover this and just absolutely destroy the Patriots. But I'll take the Patriots. I think Mac Jones and the Bill Belichick have something to prove. I think they'll be able to stop this Cowboys offense a little bit. You saw what they did a couple weeks ago against that Buccaneers vaunted offense. I think they can do the same thing, and so I'm locking it in. I'll take it. I'll take the Patriots +4. Give me the home team plus the points. Move on to a teaser. We're 3-1 on these so far on the year. We cashed last week +120. We're headed back with another 7-point teaser +120 value. Rams -2.5, Colts -2.5, and the Chargers +10. Yeah, you talk about the starting with the Rams. Now, they're playing against the Giants, and the Giants are a depleted team. They'll probably be starting Mike Glennon, and that's probably where I can end the analysis. Now, I do think the Rams, I don't know if they'll cover the spread, which is 9.5 at the moment, but I think they'll be able to win by a field goal. Matthew Stafford will be able, and company, will be able to get it done. And you're talking about a Mike Glennon-led Giants team, even if Danny Dimes is out there. The Rams did beat this same team last year, and that was led by Jared Goff. They struggled, so they didn't cover the 9.5 points, winning 17-9, but I do think this Rams team is better than the Giants. That's not saying too much, and I'll lock it in. Now, Colts versus Texans. Colts, they looked, I don't love trusting the Colts. I won't lie to you, but the Texans played the best game that they possibly could last week, and they still didn't cover 2.5 points. They lost by 3 to the Patriots. They didn't score for the final 28 minutes of the game, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But, I mean, come on. This Colts team is better than a 1-4 team, which the last time they were 1-4, they made the playoffs in 2018. So maybe they got the league right where they want them. But I'm in. I think they're 9.5-point favorites, which is massive, but I think they will be all right. They got a good defense that is underrated. Sure, they gave up a ton of points to Lamar Jackson in that fourth quarter, but they held that Ravens team to just 9 points through 3 quarters. Sure, they screwed it up at the end, but I do think the Colts have an above-average defense, and I think that Jonathan Taylor will be able to get it done on the ground. Now, final leg, Chargers +10. Yes, the Chargers are underdogs in Baltimore, and arguably the game of the week, or one of the top 1 or 2, 3 games of the week this season, but this week, Chargers +3. I'm not going to make it as a spread bet, but I'll put them up to +10 because I think they got a good chance in this game, not only to win outright, but to just keep this close. Because the Ravens have not been blowing out teams. They're not going out there and just saying, all right, here's a 50-piece on you, and then you're losing by 25 points. No, the Ravens are 4-1, and on one of those victories came by more than double-digit points. That was against a Teddy Bridgewater-less Denver Broncos team when Teddy Bridgewater got injured, and then it was just Drew Lock out there. Just who knows what he was doing. Not completing passes, that's for sure. I think the Chargers keep this close, keep it within 10 points, and maybe just squeak it out and win outright. Because I'm a big Chargers fan, I like them, but I do think this might be a letdown spot for them to not win this game. But I know a lot of people will be betting Chargers +3 after what they've seen the past couple weeks. So be a little hesitant, but Justin Herbert and company can get it done, keep this within 10 points. So I'm locking it in, lock that teaser in. Let's move on to some over-unders. We're going to tighten up this week. Taking the Giants, Rams, I'm taking the under 48.5 points, -110 on FanDuel. Now, I've already talked about the Giants' struggles, obviously missing a lot of injuries and a lot of concern to that, how they're going to move the ball. Obviously, Saquon Barkley now out. And I considered their team total under, but I won't do it. I won't, and if you want to take it, I wouldn't blame you. But I feel a low-scoring game coming on. Now, these two teams matched up last year, obviously with Jared Goff and Daniel Jones under center for their respective teams. Final score is 17-9, very low scoring. And I think this time around, we should see Mike Glennon. They're not going to be stretching the field too much. A lot of dinking and dunking, chewing the clock for the most part. And the Rams, I think they could overlook this Giants team as Matthew Stafford will be facing his former team next week. They will be taking on the Detroit Lions. And so they're a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast, 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. start time. So it's going to be a little bit different for their bodies to adjust. And I think Matthew Stafford could come out just a little bit flat in the first quarter or two, first half. And I think both these teams, they like to run the ball. They don't stretch the field too much. I mean, Matthew Stafford likes to chuck it deep with Deshaun Jackson and company, but I do think the Rams defense is good enough. They haven't looked great the past couple weeks, so I think they're due for a pretty good showing against Mike Glennon or Daniel Jones if he suddenly gets cleared. But either way, I'll be taking the under, 48.5 points. That's a lot of points for two teams that, for at least a Giants team that might not be able to score all too many points against this Rams defense. And the Giants defense isn't terrible. I know they gave up a lot of points to the Cowboys last weekend, but that's the Cowboys. And although we just picked against them, they're at home. They'll have the team against them, and it's a team from West Coast flying East Coast. I like that. I like it. And so I'm moving on. Let's move on to my final. I'm taking another under, but we'll do Colts versus Texans. Taking under 43.5 points, -110 on FanDuel. Now, I wanted to take the Texans team total, but I took that last week, and I got wrong. And I bet you it cashes this week. I guarantee you it cashes, but these two teams, they don't have the best offenses in the world, and their defenses are pretty decent. I've already talked about the Colts, and I think they win this game at least by 2.5 points. That's what's in the teaser, but the Colts have hung around in most of their games. I mean, you think about the teams they've been playing. They've played against, obviously, the Rams, and they hung around in that game. Played against the Ravens. You could have won that game. But this is a team that held Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to just 9 points through 3 quarters. Took a miraculous comeback to not only score a ton of points and hit the over, but also to win that game outright and lose that one. Now, the Texans, they scored too many points last week, and they're due some regression. Most of their points came off long, fluky plays that basically a Patriots defender was like this far away from picking the ball off, and it wouldn't have resulted in any points. But like I said earlier, they didn't score the final 28 points of the game. It's like the Patriots just sat up in their gamer chair and said, all right, fine, you're the Houston Texans, and we're not taking you seriously. Fine, we'll take you seriously. You're not scoring again. Now, I could see a final score 24-13 in this sort of game. It's the Colts versus the Texans. It's going to be a low-scoring game. If you look at their previous 5 matchups, here's the total points they've seen. 47, 46, 37, 53, 45. So the over has hit in 4 of their last 5 games, but that's with Deshaun Watson, and that's with him scoring 20-plus points in pretty much all of the games. This Davis Mills on the road in Indianapolis, the last time he's only started once on the road, he managed as many points as you and I. 0 points against Buffalo Bills. 2 weeks ago, like I said, I'm taking the under, 43.5 points. Give it to me. Player props time. We got 2 of them. Starting with Najee Harris, over 70.5 rushing yards, minus 115 on DraftKings. Now, Najee, he's been handling a workload, man. This guy's been absolutely insane. Just had his best rushing game of his career so far. I mean, he's a rookie, so not saying much. 23 attempts, 122 rushing yards against a very good Broncos defense. Now, I know what you're saying, and he's only hit this over just once this season. That was last week, but the offensive line's starting to figure it out. Big Ben getting better and better, and I like this matchup. The matchup is the reason we are here. I think Najee keeps it rolling. Now, matchup's the best thing you can get because it's against the Seattle Seahawks team, missing Russell Wilson and chucking in Geno Smith. And as a Jets fan, I know Geno Smith not the best. Now, he did look decent last Thursday Night Football, and they had a while to get ready for this game, but I don't expect the Seahawks to just go out there and just blow up and just absolutely destroy this Steelers team, especially on the road. Now, this is Sunday Night Football. Mike Tomlin will establish the run. Now, you look at it, the Seahawks defense can be run all over because they have been struggling. Week 1, 90 yards to Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor. Week 2, 182 rushing yards to Derrick Henry. Week 3, 112 yards to Alexander Madison. Week 4, 89 yards to Trey Sermon. Week 5, 119 yards to Darrell Henderson Jr. and Sony Michel. Now, I don't expect Geno to just go blow it out and just make the Steelers a one-dimensional team, just throwing the ball. Najee is over-under for attempts, rushing attempts, 18.5. Wouldn't be surprised to see him hit that over, so I'll be taking it. I think he averaged less than 4 yards per carry in his first 3 games, but I average over 4 yards per carry the past 2. I think they're getting it figured it out, so I'm locking it in. Najee Harris, one of my favorite players in fantasy football. I think he has a great week again this weekend. Now, my final player prop of the video, we'll have plenty more, so make sure you go follow us on Twitter at CallinOurShot, and you'll be seeing a Parlays video coming out Saturday night. Tyler Higbee, I'm taking his over, 34.5 receiving yards, minus 115 on DraftKings. Now, Higbee, he's been up and down this season. He'll have 50, 60 receiving yards, and he'll have like 6 the next game, but he's hit this over in 2 of his past 3 of 5 overall. He's got a great matchup, and it doesn't get better than this matchup, arguably. And it's the same process that we did to cash our 2-unit play last weekend. Now, the Giants, that's who they're playing. Very good cornerbacks, and those 2 guys will be on Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, locking them down, leaving the middle of the field open. And that's where Tyler Higbee will exploit. You look at tight ends. They've exploited this Giants defense all season. Last week, Dalton Schultz, 6 receptions, 79 yards. Week 4, the Saints. So they don't really have a lot of great tight ends, so won't really count them. Week 3, Kyle Pitts hit this over on just 2 receptions. Week 2, Logan Thomas cleared this line, 45 yards. Ricky Seals-Jones added in a 19-yard reception of his own. And then Week 1, Noah Fant, 6 receptions, 62 yards. Tight ends feasted on this defense, given how good their corners are. You try to attack different spots on the field. Sean McVay, he's going to be looking for him. Now, the only negative is Tyler Higbee didn't hit this over last time these 2 teams played, which was last year. Now, Gerald Everett stole a bunch of snaps then. Now it's just a Higbee show. So, man, I think Higbee, he only had 2 receptions, 14 yards last week. Sean McVay should be looking to get him more active. That's what he normally does. One guy has a good week, then he has a bad week. Boom, boom, boom. Good week, bad week, bad week, good week. That's how it works with Sean McVay. I'm riding with Higbee, who's hit this over in 5 of his last 9 games. And 2 of those 4 misses, came out with him ending on the hook. 34 yards on the dot. Not worried about it. Let's ride. Now that'll do it. Check out the podcast on the screen. Check out Thursday Night Football, Best Bets, Bucks, Eagles, also on the screen. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We have a lot of content coming your way. Make sure you're not missing out on it. Don't be sleeping on us. We appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys Saturday night for the Parlays video. This has been Austin. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.